Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Netflix Sports Club podcast. This is a special episode. Why? Because it is a fight night preview. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, we are getting the third installation. Round 3, Ding Ding, Madison Square Garden on Netflix, July 11th. It's a Friday night. It's going to be unbelievable. And I can't wait to talk to Ariel Helwani about this. I can't wait to dig into what will be an epic matchup. The last one was insane. I remember watching it on Netflix and seeing social media just go berserk over Serrano and Taylor. I've covered their fights before. I'm fascinated by, outside of the aesthetics and the stamina and what it takes to do what they do at the highest level. And the last fight, I mean, if you hear anything that Amanda Serrano is saying, she literally said, the people have eyes. The world has eyes. She thinks she won that fight. She didn't go as far as saying she got robbed. She was asked that, of course, and said, I know what I know. I know what I thought. And she thinks the people's vote is on her side. I love both of these fighters. And so I cannot wait to see round 3 of this, a trilogy between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. Can't wait to dig into all of this right now. Because this is Netflix and because there's a boxing poster in back of me, I need my head filled with knowledge. And that's where we have Ariel Helwani, who's joining us from his studio. Of course, you host a million shows. You're all over the coverage for this incredible fight, round 3 between Taylor and Serrano, Madison Square Garden, July 11th, streaming only on Netflix. How excited are you?
Well, I'm excited, but if I'm being honest, I'm even more excited to be on this program, especially this brand new show. This is an incredible honor, probably top 3 greatest of my, I would like to think, relatively young career. So Thank you very much for having me. And we have a lot to talk about.
Our wonderful producers said, oh, you're going to get to talk to Mr. Helwani about this fight between Serrano and Taylor. And I said, I'm his biggest fan. He's one of the best interviewers in the business. When I watched your coverage in the first bout, that was like, I mean, it stole the show. The day after this fight, nobody was talking about Tyson and his ass. They were talking about these two going at it.
That was very exciting, by the way, when you slid in my DMs and told me that. I was really pumped. It was in the middle of the fight, so thank you for doing that. I flew home the next day. My son plays soccer, and he's been doing it for 5-6 years. And I never talk about work. And all of a sudden, as I'm walking up, a little bit jet lagged, a little bit tired because of the early morning flight, they're like, Ariel, we saw you on Netflix. What the hell? You were in there with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul and all this stuff. And once we got over that, all they wanted to talk about were these 2 women, Taylor Serrano. And that's what I said to everyone in the buildup to this fight. Let's be honest. It was a very polarizing fight. And I said, please, if you feel some sort of way about these 2 guys, I get it. But please do me a favor. Show up like an hour early, just an hour early, and watch Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. 2 of the greatest athletes, 2 of the greatest boxers, regardless of gender, on the planet. I swear to God, and they delivered. And I was so happy for them. And now they're getting the main event slot in the world's most famous arena, the greatest venue in the history of sports. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm so happy that Netflix is the platform for it once again.
It's so well deserved for both of them and their teams and their supporters, their promoters, their trainers. This thing that exists between Katie and Serrano it is a dynamic that I am really captivated by. And I'm curious, it's clearly evolved, but they need each other. And I love watching Amanda talk about, I respect you, but do you? How does that work when you want to rip her head off? Like, how would you describe their dynamic going into this epic fight?
Well, it has evolved because for the longest time, Katie was sort of the poster woman of women's boxing. She was the one that got the Olympics to agree to let women box. 2012 was the first year that women could box at the Olympic Games. And oh, by the way, in London, she won a gold medal. And I call her the patron saint of the Emerald Isle because I have never seen a country feel this way, the way in which they do about her. Like any country feels about an athlete. They adore her like she is their own daughter. And she would have to dress up as a boy in order to be allowed to box on the amateur level. She would have to put her hair in the headgear and call herself KT as in Katie Taylor, as her sort of like nickname. And people couldn't really realize who she was because she was all dressed up. Those were the sacrifices that she had to endure in order to get to the Olympics. And then, of course, blaze this trail. In the meantime, you have someone named Amanda Serrano who is doing her thing in the New York fight scene and getting paid no money. Like I'm talking 5K, 10K, 20K, no more than like 50K fighting in front of 500, 600, 700 people, not getting that same type of shine. But she's doing the same type of things. 7-division world champion, 50 fights, all that stuff. Like she is as successful, just no one is really paying attention to her. And so you're right. Sometimes you need that match. You need that dance partner, if you will. And so while Katie is doing this, here's Amanda like nipping at her heels. By the way, Amanda is a natural 126 pounder. This fight is happening at 140 pounds. She's moving up in order to chase her dreams. They fight once in 2012, Madison Square Garden. An all-time great fight. I've never experienced MSG like this. It was half Irish, half Puerto Rican. And I'm sorry for going on and on, but I love their story so much and I love their history. I sat down with them 3 days before that fight. I did one of these face-to-faces and they were so respectful, so quiet, so timid around each other. To see where they've come after 2 fights and the press conference that we saw a couple of months ago at MSG and the trash talk, and Katie in particular saying, I'm tired of everyone saying, you won the first fight, or you won the second fight, or I headbutted you. To see her bite back, which she never does, was something amazing. And I'll end with this. I saw her in the back afterwards, and I was like, Katie, who was that person? Like, she really punched back verbally, so to speak. And she just said, like, I don't know who that was, but I'm just tired of it. And so I feel like that sets the table perfectly for what we're going to see July 11th. They're both tired. Amanda's tired of losing to her controversially. Katie's tired of the excuses. May the best woman win.
I mean, how do you think it's going to go? Who has the advantage then when it comes to motivation, momentum? I mean, they're both saying all the right things.
So ultimately, you always have to give Katie a little bit of an edge because of the size difference, because she is a natural 135, 140 pounder. Their first fight, by the way, was at 35, second at 40. This third one will be at 40 as well. So Amanda has to bulk up. But Katie, the knock has been that the knees aren't as good, that she's taken a lot of damage in her last few fights. And so there is some concern that maybe if she wins, this is it. And maybe if she loses, this is it. Not that same type of concern, despite the fact that Amanda has more fights on her resume for Amanda Serrano. Ultimately, though, as you know, Kay, I'm a professional broadcaster. I cannot make predictions in case you want me to make a prediction. The folks at Netflix would fire me on the spot if I showed any kind of bias. And so I'm right down the middle. I love Katie. I love Amanda. We are in for a treat on the 11th of July.
There's a lot of criticism with Katie as far as what she might have looked like in that fight. Like if it had gone one more round, she would have been knocked out. Does it mean more for her storied, beautiful legacy, or more for Amanda Serrano, who wants to make her mark on the biggest stage there is?
Unequivocally, it's Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano is 0-2 against her. And some people could argue, all right, it was controversial. I personally, by the way, just for the record, I thought Katie won the first fight, fair and square. And I actually thought Amanda won the second fight. And so I'm down the middle as well. And I think that historically, it would be fair to say, when someone's down 2-0, regardless of how controversial the scorecards may be, you don't usually get a third crack, but it just speaks to how great their chemistry is and how great their fights are. So they're giving them a third crack, but I think it's going to be another close fight. But if it does happen, it's a fight game, anything can happen. It will also be a referendum. It will be the final sort of exclamation point for Katie Taylor. Like, look, I told you all along I was the better fighter and I deserved to win those fights, and all that other talk was hogwash. And so it's not just round 3, so to speak, that's up in the air here. I almost feel like the whole freaking thing is up in the air here because the winner is able to rewrite history.
What adjustment does Amanda need to make it undeniable that she will be the winner?
Well, ultimately, the first thing that comes to mind is like, if she could get a stoppage, that would be great because the first 2 times that it went to the judges' scorecards, she didn't get the nod and she thinks she won both of those fights, which is a very unique spot to be in. The unique thing about women's boxing as opposed to men's boxing, especially in title fights, women fight 10 2-minute rounds for a title fight. Men fight 12 3-minute rounds. I can tell you, and I'm the biggest Katie Taylor fan, you have someone like Amanda Serrano who looked so good in that first fight. And in the 5th round, if you haven't seen it, go back to that 5th round. If this is a 3-minute round that they're fighting in, she probably stops Katie. That's how close it was. The 10th round, same thing. If you go back to the early portion, first round of the second fight, if there's an extra minute there, Katie was out on her feet. And credit to her, she was able to rebound. And so there's a few times where Amanda is actually the person who's saying, I want women to have 3-minute rounds. She's trying to do this, and she's done it in a few of the non-Katie fights as of late where she fought 3-minute rounds. I think if those rounds are a little bit longer, she probably gets a stoppage. So to answer your question, what does she need to do? She probably needs a stoppage here in order to prove her point.
Every time I've talked to Amanda face to face, she's fiery. She does not hold punches. Katie seems a little more demure. When you sit with Katie Taylor and you have access, and you will, of course, that night, July 11th on Netflix, what makes her tick? What stands out about her amongst all the other fighters and athletes that you've dealt with?
She is so soft-spoken. She is so gentle. Right. That's why I call her the patron saint, because she's, first of all, very, very religious. She's the antithesis of what you expect a prize fighter to be. Like, she has no vices, and the two of them are very much like this. I mean, Amanda, it's been well documented, doesn't own a cell phone. She, still lives with her sister and her husband, her sister's husband, her brother-in-law, who's her trainer. Like, they're both very pure, and it's not an act. What's so interesting about Katie is that if she walks the streets of Dublin, she's a superstar, but she lives in Connecticut and she trains in Connecticut. No one knows her there, and she adores that. She wants nothing to do with the fame. She wants nothing to do with the spotlight. She doesn't want to trash talk. She doesn't want to sell fights. She literally just wants to go train and fight. So she finally got her homecoming fight in Ireland back in 2023. And I said I was going to do everything in my power to be there in person. I needed to experience this. But the crowd there, the way I saw people crying just in the walkout, that's how much she means to them. And yet it doesn't get to her head. She is so down to earth, and the type of person that you want your daughter to look up to, that you want your kid to have a poster of them in your room and be like, I want to be that person. That's who Katie Taylor is.
How much longer do we have Katie Taylor?
Oh, man. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, with a win or a loss if this is it. Like, I think this is... Yeah,
Ariel, actually stop. Cut the line. You're joking. No way.
I would not be surprised. And by the way, I have no intel here. I've not
win or
asked
loss?
for this yet. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you win, what better way to go out? The Mecca, Netflix, you beat your rival for a third time. Like, what's better than this? And you just you kind of have to see how like the body holds up. If you watch her in between rounds, more often than not these days, she doesn't sit down anymore. Think about it. She won a gold medal at the 2012 Olympic Games. That's right. 13 years ago. Not to mention all the amateur fights. Like, she has put in the time, and she's getting up there. And quite frankly, she has nothing left to prove. So if I were her, win this fight, sail off to the sunset, enjoy your life.
You are giving all of our viewers the most tea on what to look for stylistically between rounds, the knees, the eyes, what it means, the stakes for both of them. What do I need to know about the coverage, by the way?
So when they fought in 2022, they headlined MSG. And it was the first time that two women headlined a combat sports event of any kind at MSG.
Wow.
Grace Arena, go Knicks. This entire card is women. And it's not just a gimmick card. It's not just like, oh, hey, let's give this person an opportunity. No, I'm actually told that there's a chance, by the way, that the Guinness Book of World Records is going to be there and stamp this event for the boxing event with the most legitimate titles on the line on one card. That's the kind of talent on this card. So I mentioned Chantel Cameron, Katie's former foe. She's on the card. They just signed a great fighter out of the UK named Savannah Marshall. Top 10 pound for pound, I would say maybe like 5 at worst. She's tremendous. There's a Canadian Olympian on the undercard named Tamara Thibault. She's incredible. They just signed another great UK fighter. I'm talking about MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, who are promoting this event, named Ellie Scottney. She's on the card as well. Shernika Johnson was just added from New Zealand. It is a who's who of legitimate badass women fighters, the best of the best, like legit top 10 pound for pound, regardless of weight class fighters, superstars on this card.
Outside of Taylor and outside of Serrano, who do you think steals the show?
Okay, so I just mentioned a bunch of names. The one name that I didn't mention, and I hope she doesn't realize that because I don't want any smoke from her, is Alicia Baumgartner. She also recently signed with Most Valuable Promotions, and she is a freaking incredible fighter. She is the type of fighter who stands in the pocket. I mean, she is absolutely ripped, jacked, powerful, talented, quick. She's had a bit of a rough patch over the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 years. Hasn't been promoted correctly. There was maybe some sort of controversy with the PED thing. Anyway, it's all behind us now. She is the type of fighter who, by the way, I wanted to see her fight Amanda at some point, and maybe we'll get it down the line, stands in the pocket, in the phone booth, as they say, and just lets it rip. She's in the co-main event. You want to watch her. But again, this isn't one of those cards where you just show up for the co-main or the main. You really want to watch the whole thing, because I just mentioned a bunch of those names. They're all like one better than the next. I can't wait.
And we have come a long way with women in boxing. I hear it from both Katie's predecessor. She's always great about paying it forward. Amanda as well, the promoters, everybody that works so hard to get this where it is. In your opinion, how far has boxing for women come?
Oh my gosh. I mean, consider the fact that just 13 years ago, I mean, we're talking about, the big debut of women's boxing in the Olympic Games. And then, they were kind of, all right, sometimes one fight every like 10 cards, right? The idea of a card like this with athletes like this at Madison Square Garden, top to bottom on a platform like this, was absurd. HBO's last boxing event that they ever put on, it was back in 2017, was headlined by Clarissa Shields. That was the only time in the history of HBO boxing, like a 35-year run, that they ever had a woman headline an event, and it happened in their last ever event. That's how rare it was. That's how unique it was. And so to see now, no one batting an eye having two women at the top of the card, or batting an eye of having Katie and Amanda right below Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, or batting an eye at a card like this, it has come a very long way in just a little over 10 years. And it's in large part due to the fact that you have Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, two incredible fighters and role models, leading the charge. And oh, by the way, there is a case, and Amanda may not like me saying this, there is a case to be had that the 10 2-minute rounds actually makes it a lot more exciting. It's quick, it's ferocious. By the time you blink, the round is over. So you have to go in there. You have to what's been the knock in the past sometimes of boxing? There's too much point fighting. There's too many, just throwing jab, jab, jab. You don't get that more often than not with the women, because they don't have enough time to do that.
What was it like being in the ring? I remember when I used to have to do that on a much smaller scale. That's why I messaged you, because I was like, it is not easy. What's going through your head? Take me through that process.
So it is literally my dream come true to do that particular job, because when I was a kid growing up in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, I did not want to be the play-by-play guy or the analyst. I was always taken by the interviewer, whether it was the interviewer on an NBA court like Ahmad Rashad or Craig Sager, guys like that. But in particular, in combat sports, I would look up to the likes of Larry Merchant, Howard Cosell, later on the likes of Max Kellerman, who would be in there in those moments and be able to get stuff out of someone who was just in a 12-round fight and get the emotion out, ask the right questions, not make it too complicated, not overthink it, not try to show off. These are the things that I try to do, get in and get out. And, quite frankly, for a while, it took me some time to get to that spot. I always wanted that. Again, I never wanted to be the play-by-play guy. I didn't want to be Mauro Ranallo or Jim Lampley or anyone like that. I didn't want to be the analyst in the booth. I wanted to be the guy asking the questions in the ring immediately after the fight. It's one thing to ask in the locker room. It's one thing to ask at a press conference or on a show like this or yours, but to be able to have the privilege of being the first person to get their raw thoughts and emotions, there is no greater privilege. I think it's a greater privilege than the blow-by-blow person, because you are the first one to get their word out to the world. And you got to keep the question simple, because they want to tell a story. They want to say something. They want to get something off their chest. They just want to let it all out. And there are times, like when I was there in November, I'm a kid who grew up in the 80s playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And again, I know he wasn't the same Mike as the late 80s, early 90s, but I'm staring at Mike Tyson, like someone that I used to buy his merch. I remember when he came back to fight Peter McNeely, and I bought the t-shirt and the program off the 1-800 commercial. And here I am standing in front of this guy asking him questions in probably his last ever, sporting event. So I feel incredibly blessed, incredibly privileged, and I've never had an experience like that one, like working with everyone. Now I'm getting too far in the weeds. This is probably like a private conversation, but the level of professionalism was just amazing.
I was thinking about watching. It's like, I love that you're saying it's a privilege, but it's also, make no mistake, it's a responsibility. It is like you want the responsibility of getting it right for them.
100%. You have to do right by them.
Their careers and getting the truth and getting the rawness, but also you can ask all the wrong things in those moments. I think you do such a beautiful job, and I cannot wait to watch. I mean, that's like I love, of course, I love the boxing, but I love all of those little nuances about it. And you do just a really tremendous. For those of us who don't get to be there ringside, like I will be calling you about that later.
Yeah.
It's really, really beautiful. We cannot wait to see it all. July 11th. It is Taylor v. Serrano. Maybe Taylor's last time. Maybe Serrano's pivotal, instrumental, game-changing win that we'd of course love to see for both Serrano and Taylor. We love the sport. I'm so appreciative of your time, what you bring to it, and yeah, we'll see you front and center on Netflix July 11th.
Thank you so much. Next time we have to talk about Raw on Netflix, because I know you're getting into wrestling. I'm a big wrestling guy. We don't have time for that now, but I would love to get your take on the current state of the business, because I know you're like deep into it now. So we'll save that for the next chat.
No matter who you are, it's a test against them, against you, against the world.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda Richards from Netflix It's a Doom, the site where you, the fans, can go behind the scenes of all your favorite Netflix shows and movies. I am very excited to be with all of you here today on the Netflix Sports Club podcast, because as Kay mentioned, this is a super special episode. We are previewing a history-making fight night happening this Friday at Madison Square Garden. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano will be headlining the first ever all-women fight card in Madison Square Garden history, featuring 9 current world champions, as well as 4 of the top 10 women's pound-for-pound fighters in the world. The fight will stream live globally on Netflix. It's going to set a new financial standard for female fighters, with Taylor and Serrano set to receive record-breaking purses, continuing to raise the benchmark as the highest-paid female fighters of all time. So without further ado, please welcome boxing legend, 5-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist, and the pride of Ireland, the Bray Bomber, headliner of this weekend's matchup, Katie Taylor. Well, Katie Taylor, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy training schedule to join us here on the Netflix Sports Club podcast.
Yeah, no, thank you, Amanda. It's great to be here.
So this fight, it's not just a rematch. It's headlining the first all-women's card at Madison Square Garden, with more belts on the line than any other card in boxing. So thinking about the sort of history-making elements of that, what does it mean to you to be at the center of it all?
Oh, it's amazing. I think if you had asked me 10 years ago, so I think I would have been like headlining a huge show in Madison Square Garden with an all-female boxing card. I would have said no, that wouldn't be possible. So here we are. The fights just keep getting bigger and bigger. This is a huge moment for women's sport, for women's boxing. I think, and to get a chance to be a part of this is absolutely remarkable. It's insane. I think I've been waking up for the last few months just so grateful to have this opportunity, and just thanking God. Gosh, I can't believe that I'm in a position where I'm topping an all-female card in Madison Square Garden, such an iconic arena, live on Netflix again. This is huge. People are going to see the best of women's boxing on this night, and it's amazing to be a part of it.
Yeah, it really does feel like more than just a fight night. It feels like it's kind of reshaping what women's boxing is going to look like moving forward. And I'd love to hear a little more about that from you, like where women's boxing has been since you entered the game and how you see something like this moving it forward in a brand new direction.
Yeah, I think this night is going to be a celebration of women's boxing, really. And I think 8 years ago when I turned pro, women's boxing was pretty much non-existent. Nobody really cared about women's boxing. You fast forward 8 years later, and here we are in this position where we're headlining the biggest card of boxing. The sport is at a point where it's actually has a top quality all-female card. I think that's absolutely remarkable. Like every single fight on that night is going to be a showcase of the best of women's boxing, and I think people are going to be shocked at the talent that they see, and they're going to be household names, I think, after July 11th.
I love that. I am very much looking forward to that day as someone who's been following for quite a long time. So there's the history making element of it all. This is big. This is huge. But I want to talk about you and your fight. I was thinking about it and I'm wondering, like, it seems like there's an obvious answer to, is there an advantage to being the fighter who won the first 2 fights? But I also think, like, does that bring a different kind of pressure for you? Like the stakes are different for you, it feels like, but I wonder how you're sort of navigating that.
I don't really think too much. I have a short-term memory, so I don't think too much about what happened last fight or fight before that. This is a brand new fight. and it's a clean slate. And I started this camp just trying to make the necessary adjustments and just trying to improve from the last fight, really. I don't think people have seen the best of me yet. And so I'm just very, very, very much excited for that night. And I love the whole process of a training camp where you're getting stronger and sharper from week to week. The things that you're working on, you're just seeing the improvements from week to week as well. And so we're a few weeks out from the fight now. My mindset's in a really good place. I feel good about myself, and I just love the fact that I get to showcase what I can do.
Is there something about this fight that demands something of you that no previous fight has, or is it just the next fight?
I think in these kind of fights, it's always going to demand maybe a bit more from you than you think, because these fights are won not just from skill alone, but a lot of heart has to be on show. You have to show a lot of grit, and that's what makes these fights so iconic, I think. The last two fights that I've had with Amanda have been fight of the year contenders because of that. Not only was there a lot of skill on show, but a lot of heart, a lot of grit, a lot of just will to win, pure passion for their sport. And I believe the third one's going to be no difference.
I am going to go out on a limb and say that, you've evolved. You're a different fighter maybe than you were in 2022 when you and Amanda first met. And I don't know what's changed between now and 2024 at Paul Tyson, but I would love to hear from you. Like, how have you evolved? Like, how have you changed anything in your training? Has your mindset shifted even from, 3 years ago, last year? What's your journey been?
Yeah, I definitely think I have evolved. I definitely have improved as a fighter since 2022. I think for fight to fight, you always look back and think to yourself, how can I improve? I think after every fight, I always try to just reinvent yourself and try to come back as a better fighter. And I've always done that right from the start of my career. And I do feel like I said, that people have not seen the best of me, and I'm really excited to showcase that. And it's always about making those necessary adjustments from fight to fight as well. Yeah, I've been working hard in the gym. I've been trying to make those improvements, and hopefully I can execute it again.
You and Amanda, I watched the press conference, and you and Amanda really speak to each other. Like, you both recognize, like it's like a recognized game situation. And I'm wondering to hear from you what you hope Amanda brings to the ring for you.
We both absolutely get the best out of each other because we both bring a lot to the game. We both fight with a lot of heart, a lot of passion. We both have that will to win. I really respect Amanda because of that. I think she's a fantastic athlete. She's also a fantastic person, and we've had a chance to make history together in these two fight nights, and we have a chance to do it again in a few weeks' time. So I do have a lot of respect for her, but once we step into the ring, we're going to do whatever it takes actually in the fight. And I expect nothing less from Amanda.
We spoke to Ariel Helwani recently, and he said that this might be your final fight. So I'm wondering, is that true? Or is there still more you want to do after July 11th?
I don't know, to be honest. You'd have to ask me that question after July 11th. I take it one fight at a time, and I'm going to be 39 years of age when I step into the ring. So I definitely know that I'm at the end of my career. But right now I feel amazing. I feel great. I feel better each year, I guess. But I'll see what happens after July 11th, and we can have that conversation.
Well, great. Well, Katie, thank you so much for your time. I really, truly can't wait to watch you in the ring.
And I really appreciate it.
Huge thanks to Katie Taylor, her entire team, for giving us some time with the champ ahead of what's going to be a memorable, unforgettable match up against Amanda Serrano, a very familiar foe, as you just heard. We can see that only on Netflix. Huge thanks to Ariel Helwani, who's going to be all over the broadcast, by the way, on Netflix July 11th. It's the only place you can watch it. These two going at it for a third time. It's going to be epic, iconic. We are so grateful for the guests that are coming on and also your comments. They are driving us. We're trying to get better every week. So we do want to hear from you. Who do you think will triumph between Serrano and Taylor? Let us know, guys. Go to speakpipe.com/Netflix Sports Club. You can keep your thoughts coming. Hit us up on social media, of course. And big thanks to everybody who's rating and reviewing. I saw one very, very sweet comment from Jenna Everton. So I wanted to make sure to shout her out. out. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying, and let us know how you feel about everything that we continue to do here on the Netflix Sports Club podcast. Now, for our next episode, we are talking all things quarterback season 2 next.
Can I make another suggestion? Why don't we just do another season of quarterback?
I'm in if you're in.
I'm in. Did you really think quarterback was going anywhere?
That's it for this week's episode of the Netflix Sports Club podcast. It's a production of Netflix and Pod People with many people to thank. From Netflix, our executive producers are Erica Brady, Catherine Hugh, and David Markowitz. Our studio engineer is Scott Somerville. And from Pod People, our producers are Buffy Gorilla, Tony Mantilla, and Brian Rivers. This episode edited for video by Kai Lee. Carter Wogan is our sound designer. That's it from us here at the Netflix Sports Club podcast. We'll see you next time.